Oh, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Paycheck to Paycheck Statistics. I'm your host, Chris, and today we are going to discuss animators. Have you ever wondered how much your favorite animators make? You know, those folks who write for the Simpsons, Bojack Horseman, Futurama, etc., etc., etc. Today, we're going to talk about it. Specifically, we will be discussing VFX artists and animators. Special effects artists and animators create images that appear to move and visual effects for various forms of media and entertainment. Job requirements for a special effects artist and animator. Credentials required to apply: a bachelor's degree in art, computer graphics, or a related field. The skills required to apply: artistic talent, communication, computer skills, creativity, and time management. The application process: you'll need to submit an artist portfolio, a work resume. Let's look at some paycheck data by zip code. We're going to break down across the country. We'll look at Oakland, California, Denver, Colorado, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Raleigh, North Carolina, and then down to Orlando, Florida. Let's see, coming up the rear, we've got Orlando, Florida, coming in at a median salary of $59,050. Next up, we've got Minneapolis, Minnesota. They come in at $70,040. Then comes Denver, Colorado. That comes in at $74,550. Just above them is Raleigh, North Carolina, coming in at $74,710. And our leader of the pack, Oakland, California. This is also inclusive of the San Francisco area, just right in the same spot. It'll be $126,030 on average there. And keep in mind, that is where the Pixar animation studios are based. And that might be inflating those salaries a little bit as well. And let's look at these guys across the board next to each other. We've got Orlando down there at the bottom, $59,050, and all the way up to Oakland, California at $126,030. Now, viewed in a different way there, we can see them stacked on top of each other, and you can see that Raleigh, Denver, and Minneapolis are actually pretty darn close to each other. Orlando and Oakland are very far apart on the other ends, and some of that is made up in tax payments. Once you break down how much Oakland, California is paying in taxes and how little Orlando, Florida is paying in taxes, they do kind of even out a little bit more. So let's look at the median pay across the entire United States. And this is going to include special effects artists and animators. They are one category. They're going to come out to a median yearly pay of $78,790. Now that breaks down to a per hour rate of typically $37.88. Let's look at that in comparison to some other wages. So this, the line on top is going to show you the monthly take home from SFX artists and animators. And the bars down there are going to show you, the big blue bar is going to show you monthly median take home for that city. The light blue bar is going to show you monthly owner costs if you have a mortgage on your property. And then the orange bar is going to show you monthly costs if you rent your property. So you can see how these are going to be the average person, kind of the difference between the top of the dark blue and the top of whether you're a rent or a mortgage is going to be what's left over from your take-home pay. And this is post-tax. I have calculated taxes out of these wages as well. So this is every month. You'll see that Oakland, California, they definitely are above the average, even in their city, once you calculate it all. Everyone else seems to be just right about the median. Overall in the United States, we do come a little bit higher, and I would say that Oakland number is definitely probably bringing up that United States number a bit. SFX artists and animators. Again, the median pay across the entire United States is $78,790 per year, or $37.88 per hour. The current outlook. Current jobs in 2021 were 58,900 available jobs. Now looking forward, the future openings, they are predicting an employment change from 2021 to 2031 of about 3,200 additional job openings. Now, how does this compare to other jobs that are going to grow in that same rate? It's about average. We're looking at about a 5% growth overall for that decade. Now let's talk about the unions that are involved for these. There are a couple different unions that are going to represent. For animators, we have the Animation Union, which is also covered by IATSE, and that'll be the Animation Guild. They were founded in 1952, and they have about 6,000 people in the Animation Guild. We don't know how many of those are animators because they haven't released those numbers specific. This is everyone in the entire guild, and that covers artists, technicians, writers, and production workers who are part of the animation production. So all in all, they have about 6,000 members in the total guild. And the Animation Union is also a part of IATSE, which is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. Signed studios with the Animation Guild as of 2022 are going to be this big long list here. Now keep in mind that not everyone who is working for one of these studios or on one of these productions is a union member. There are differences within these positions, whether you are working for the studio, whether you are a contract worker, and those give you different classifications. So not every worker who's working on a studio is necessarily union. Now looking at the VFX Artists Union, they are also part of IATSE, and their union is the VFX-IATSE Union, and that covers production and facility-based VFX workers. So again, we don't know exactly how many, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, that 6,000 is left from the Animators Union. We have no idea how many are in the VFX Union. Now, IATSE did a really fascinating survey with the VFX artists that I just want to share with you. They asked them if their working conditions are not sustainable due to a lack of severe health care, retirement options, overtime pay, and training in the field. And 2/3, 66.7% of VFX artists agreed. In fact, this particular artist said most visual effects workers I've known can barely survive more than 5 years in our industry without having the benefit of employer-sponsored plans like pension or 401k. I don't see how a career in visual effects could be sustainable for the long term. For a single person, maybe, but if you want to raise a family, the odds are stacked up against you. I believe that we all know this industry is not too kind to families. And another question on the survey asked if they were able to negotiate for rights or for solutions to burnout, wage theft, and unsafe working conditions. And only 10% of the survey responders said that they were able to negotiate. 90% of the employees said that they had no ability to negotiate for better conditions. Right now, there is a big VFX union push because of the SAG-AFTRA strikes with the writers union and the actors union. As of last month, a supermajority of Marvel's 50-plus worker visual effects crew has signed authorization cards indicating they want to be represented by IATSE. So Marvel right now is putting it to a vote. The votes are due on September 11th, and the count will begin on September 12th. Good luck to all of you. Again, let's talk about that median pay one more time. Special effects artists and animators, $78,790 per year, or $37.88 per hour. And we know, based on those surveys, that many of these artists are not paid overtime wages. They're not working 8-hour days. They're working 12-hour plus days, and they're not getting overtime wages in a lot of cases. So this $37.88 per hour, I'm sure, is quite variable, and I'd love it if those of you who work in the industry can let us know what your job is, what your pay is, if it varies based on your project significantly, or if you kind of stay in line. The VFX-IATSE Union surveyed their members, and in 2021, they came up with this graphic that's going to give us a little bit of an idea of where some of the folks within VFX work are making wages and what kind of the variability is. So you can see in the VFX production artists, there's quite a bit of variability there, all the way from people at the very low end to people at the very high end. And when you got assistant coordinators, you're a little more in line there. Most people there are making about the same amount per week. And so this is going to vary based on what your title is, what your production is. And so you can see that they're actually breaking down to $14.29 per hour for the VFX witness camera operator, whereas over here the VFX production artist is a little higher than we anticipated, $52.50 an hour. But if you work over here as a VFX data wrangler, you're going to be at $28.82, so a little bit on the lower end. So this will show you how some of the different jobs, as they vary in pay, will figure into that overall median salary rate. Some jobs are going to pay quite a bit higher, and they'll pull that number up, and some jobs will pay quite a bit lower, and they'll bring that number down. And so here you'll see where the folks work. You can see a good chunk of work is completed out of Los Angeles. Then Atlanta comes in at number 2, followed by New York, and then other at 14%. So you'll see that most of the work here for VFX is being based out of Los Angeles, which makes sense why that number would be quite a bit higher. If that's where most of the people are employed, you're going to be employing a lot of the top end there. Okay, so that'll show you a couple of job titles broke down by per hour, per week, and per year. Thank you so much for watching Paycheck to Paycheck Statistics. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And we will see you next week with another deep dive into someone else's paycheck. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful week.